Hello and welcome to One United. My name is Paritosh Joshi along with Wali Siddiqui and Anshuman Joshi here to talk about the PSG game. It's the Champions League week as United face PSG at Old Trafford and with a chance to confirm their qualification through the round of 16. Wali, Anshuman, first of all, welcome. And what are your thoughts about the whole game? We'll discuss this further, but we'll have to start with the elephant in the room, the whole Edinson Cavani issue. There is a lot of talks about him getting banned. How much do you see any truth in it? And what are your thoughts about the whole situation? We'll start with Anshuman first.
Well, this is one of those issues that we need to, deal with very subtlety. And this is something that transcends Cavani, that transcends Manchester United, that transcends football. That this is a societal issue. We have every few months we arrive in this situation where there is an incident and we start discussing what should happen. So he said something that he says is not supposed to be a racist thing, and I think the connotations here, needs a lot of weightage because this is the same thing that we even Luis Suarez said with that Evra incident, and a lot has happened since then. Liverpool has come out and said that they did the wrong thing. Even Evra had said that he never wanted a game ban for Suarez. He just wanted education, and education is the word that comes keeps coming up time after time after time. And like it's just an issue that it's a very big. I don't really know how short and sweet we can keep it, but I think if we talk about what he said and what he feels, I think there's this disparity between what can be said in an English context and what he said in a Spanish context, given the fact that he has
Mm.
never spoken English. And if I were
Mm.
to give if a Hindi parallel, if I were to give, and I would just say that it's a word like we use in Bollywood movies and Bollywood songs when we talk about objectifying women, and we use the word
Mhm.
gorie very,
Uh,
very casually. And this is still a word that is being used currently. And most of us already understand that this is a problematic word. You can wrap it around however way you like. It's not the right thing to say
but
anymore. And
it's not. It's. I don't think it's the same parallel because objectification is coming about. Yeah, objectification is more about the morality of the issue,
that's
whereas
fine. That's true. But the idea,
racism is about
uh
racism is outright offending someone.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's true. But we
objectification
need to.
is wrong, and that also needs to be addressed. But I don't think this
Mhm.
is the same parallel.
No,
Also, the
I'm
fact
talking
that
about.
I'm
I'm talking on the lines of what we feel is a matter of endearment.
yeah,
And because every
yeah,
time we will talk about, right, so they say, oh no, we mean it casually, we mean it, in a
yeah,
loving sense.
yeah,
You can wrap it around however you like. It's not the right thing
yeah,
to
yeah,
say, right? And this is
yeah.
an endless debate that can go along. And the only thing that we can address right now that this is one of those incidents like last year we had Benjamin Mendy and Bernardo Silva, where the comparison
Mm,
that they drew was not in itself racist. It is not in itself a negative issue, but the connotations that concerned the term, the history of the incident that happened, that were more severe. I don't really think. I think Cavani has come out and apologized. The club has come out and said that in his favor. And there are a lot of issues that have said that he didn't mean it that way. But that doesn't mean that what he said wasn't problematic. So I think we need to remember that. I think we need to accept that. Besides the fact that he's our player, and that is somehow we need to understand it. Now, what this does show, in a greater sense, it shows that the FA and the PFA they are still not doing a very good job in education. That's the word that keeps on throwing around. I think Gary Neville last night was pretty on Monday Night Football. He addressed it quite eloquently, and he said that you can do the token gestures all you want, the kick it out, the no root for racism, the taking the knee, Black Lives Matter, and it's all amazing and needs to happen. But token gestures will be hollow in themselves if you do not have substantial action to back them up. And he
mm,
again goes on to say that this idea that education needs to happen because there are so many cultures colliding, and what you are saying in one language may not be considered appropriate in another language, and that is completely fine. But that issue needs to be brought up. These players who are arriving, Edison Cavani has never spoken a word of English in his entire life. He's arriving in
mm,
English Premier League, and this should have been the responsibility. Someone needs to take responsibility for a cultural webinar or anything to just it doesn't take a lot of time to sit down with a player coming in a different culture and country and tell them that these are the things that you cannot say, because this is not the first time this word has arrived. This is not the first time a player from a different country has arrived. So it is a recurring issue, and I just feel like it throws that light on FA that people are just throwing the blame around, or someone should have taken responsibility, but no one wants to take that responsibility. In the longer run, it is a bigger debate that needs to happen. And as far as the current situation of Edinson Cavani is concerned, I think Manchester United has come out and said that they have back the FA, and they will completely help in the investigation and everything. I think it is completely justified. And if you look at the case of what happened with Bernardo Silva, he was charged with a one-match ban and £50,000 fine. And FA ahead of the start of the season, they did say that if you put something problematic on social media, a three-game ban is a standard charge. But they also said that under mitigating circumstances, that could change. So I think we should brace ourselves for a ban. I'm not going to say that is something wrong. I think this is something that needs to be addressed. Actions need to be taken irrespective of what player Cavani is, which club he's playing for. This is that kind of issue. I think a ban will happen. I'm not sure if it's going to be a three-match ban. I think it will be monetary fine. And I think the person who this word was addressed to would be talked about. I think Cavani will be taken into account. They'll be talked what he meant, what was the connotations behind it. There will be a whole debate. It's not going to happen straight away. But I think we should be bracing ourselves to the ban. We need to address that ban because this is something that goes way beyond just our club, and this is something that needs to be discussed in a lot more detail or in a lot more time. So I think for right now, Cavani is going to play tomorrow's match. I think so. A charge is very much charge, and a subsequent ban is very much in the making.
Okay, so that was Anshuman's take on the issue. Me, on the other hand, I don't think there'll be a ban because he has come out and publicly said that he never meant to offend anyone, and whatever his statement was, I'm not quoting exactly, but that's what he meant by it. Also, I think the word to whom it was denoted to, he's a friend of Cavani, and I don't think he has taken any offense. So that also comes into the issue how much it gets blown on the social media. I don't think it has got that much traction because nobody was offended on that particular thing. But Cavani would be educated, that's for sure. And this particular incident should be a recurring incident because it has been enough time now that these things shouldn't be repeated. Wally, do you want to add on to something, or should we just move on from this?
Yeah, I would just like to say that, like Anshuman and Parito just like you just mentioned, is that I don't think he was being racist at all because he didn't even know that he was being racist. And I think the other nation, the other continent which can resonate to that of the South Americans are the people from the subcontinent
South
usually.
Asia. South Asia, yeah.
Exactly, because there are people amongst our communities and amongst our sections which also use such endearing words, and they're
Yeah,
actually endearing. They're not ill mannered at times. Sometimes they are ill mannered, but you do not get offended by it. So that is something which people need to be educated about. And yes, I agree that you need to be identified as a personnel rather than someone else, rather than by your skin color or something else for
yeah,
that matter. But like we all mentioned, Cavani, I don't think it was an honest mistake. And the good thing is that he learned. He wasn't one of those reluctant ones who just stood by and said,
yeah,
"Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know,"
yeah.
and all that. So that was good to see from his end. And yes, we might get probably a three-match ban is like a minimum thing, but I hope we don't get to see that because
I,
it was just a
I
couple
highly
of
doubt
days
it.
ago.
I highly
I
doubt it. I
Yes,
highly doubt it.
that's the last
But
thing we need right now. So I
yeah,
just hope nothing happens.
that's the last thing Manchester United need right now. So moving on from the whole issue, we have to talk about the game. This was supposed to be the group of death, and United have eased in the group up until now. One match, the Istanbul match, the first match of the two, which they could have easily grabbed a point from. They lost that match, and I think that is the only thorn in the current season, in the Champions League season for Manchester United, and they only needed a point to confirm their qualification from this group. And I'll say I'm probably happy from the results up until now. Many would say that we should have already qualified, but practically looking, when the group was first drawn, if anybody told us that coming into the final two games, if we only needed a point to qualify from the group, would you take it? Any United fan, even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, would take that. I don't think anybody in the club or related to the club would be saying that this is not one of the best scenarios that could have happened. And I hope that United are able to grab a point, but there is a long injury list. There are other issues as well. I'll talk to Wali first. Wali, what do you think would be uh, possible starting 11 for the game against PSG? Because it is going to be a tough one with the whole injury lineup, and we'll deal with the we'll talk about the injury stuff later on. But who do you think is going to start against PSG?
Well, it's going to be a challenging game because I honestly feel that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to do a Jose Mourinho tomorrow. That is, you just do not have to lose. No, even
Mm.
if you like, it's all right if you don't win. That's going to be the attitude tomorrow. So we might go with five at the back, but with that injury list that we have, I think we might have to make some changes in terms of personnel who stand in front of the goalkeeper. So that might be interesting to see.
I
But
think I think I think I got too far ahead. I think we should talk about the injury list first.
yeah,
So we'll talk
yeah.
about the injury list. Then we'll discuss about the starting 11. Let's discuss about the injury list first. Wally, take it away.
Yeah, so David De Gea is injured, so he's not there. It's going to be Dean Henderson in at goals, and Luke Shaw is missing. Alex Telles also supposedly sustained a knock in the previous game. We do not know about Paul Pogba. I think he might be missing as well. Anthony Martial's ill as well. So that's quite a lot first teamers that are outside of the 11. Is okay. Pogba might have not been featuring in the last few games, but the others they were regularly there in the starting 11. So Tuan Zabi is missing as well due to suspension. So I think it's a
Mm.
massive test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I feel that we might get to see Eric Bailly, the return of Eric Bailly, and at left back, it's either going to be it's simple as it's either going to be Brandon Williams or Timothy Fosu Mensah, and I'm not a fan of either of them right now. So that's why I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried in that regard. Lindelof and what's his name, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are pretty much there. But then the central defensive midfielders will have a big role to play. I think is McTominay fine, Anshuman, or was he injured as well?
I think so
I
far so good.
uh, I think Manchester United for the provisional squad there is Henderson and De Gea both, but I don't think De Gea will be having any services. Lingard could be featured in the game, and McTominay would is currently in the provisional squad, but we never know. I don't
I
think.
think the team from the midfield to the attacking front would be pretty much more or less the same because I think Matic would be the only one who would be on the bench. Then you'll have Cavani, Rashford, and Greenwood, the front three, and then Fred,
Hmm.
Bruno Fernandes, and Donny Van de Beek. I think Van de Beek certainly starts because he was there in the press conference. So we have to be cautious at the back because PSG they will, like I said a few days ago, that they will come out all guns blazing, and we have to find a way to stop that. But like I said, it also plays in our hands because we're really quick on the counter. So yes,
Hmm.
but for that we'll have to be defensively astute because attacking wise, I think for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer we have done decently well. It's the defense that
Hmm.
worries me, and we just have to wait and watch who all gets to start. But I think it's going to be Harry Maguire, Lindelof, Brandon Williams. If we go with five at the back, then probably Eric Bailly and then Van Bissaka as well. That's what I feel, and the
Okay.
rest remains the same.
Okay. Anshuman, do you want to give your thoughts about the whole injury situation and how will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deal with the current situation?
Well, injuries are something that every football club ahead of the start of the season needed to be more worried about, given the situations with COVID and no preseason. And even in our case, we had absolutely
Hmm.
no preseason at all. So, and we
Hmm.
are already at a disadvantage because in the league, we are barely getting any support with the whole issues with the broadcasters and the three subs that we have to play against every other team in the continent which are playing with five subs. So, they are already at a massive disadvantage as far as player welfare is concerned. So, well, it is what it is. We can discuss that another time. But as far as the injuries are concerned, I think the only person that is confirmed to start tomorrow's match for me is Dean Henderson because David De Gea is
Hmm.
injured. And formation wise, I really think that we are going. I will be very surprised if we don't start with the back five because what
Hmm.
is the our situation in the group right now is that we are very lucky on a lot of levels.
Hmm.
Not only we are leading the group with 9 points, but even with head to head, we are but better against PSG and Leipzig. So we are, even if we end up in a situation that there is a tiebreaker to happen. So we will
Yeah.
always get the priority because our head to head is better. So there are a lot of
Mm.
positives for us and a lot of
Head
reasons
to
for us to
head,
not go all guns blazing into the game.
head to head is better against Leipzig, no. But if we lose against PSG tomorrow, then because we won the PSG game only by one goal. If
Yeah,
we
so the
lose
scoreline has to be in our
PSG,
favor.
yeah, so that is also going to be an issue.
At the
Also,
moment,
after that, yeah, at the moment, but the situation we're talking about will only occur after the end of the current group stage,
especially
and
with
will,
Leipzig, because PSG, against
yeah,
with PSG, we had a close encounter, but with
yeah,
Leipzig,
yeah,
we won 5-0. So
yeah,
I think we can say that it's a lot more unlikely for us to lose
huh,
against Leipzig by more than 5 goals. So if it
yeah,
comes
yeah.
down to that, we have that advantage with us. But I still think that Ole would be looking at the situation, would be thinking more pragmatically. I would want him to think as such that we go into the next match wanting to get a point, play the long game, just get the knockouts clear, not end up in Europa all over again. So I think that is our priority. I would like him to start with a back five and not play a midfield diamond or anything of the sort where we don't have wingers. Because if there's any
Mm,
team that we don't that we don't want to give any more chances to the wingers to, it's PSG. And the
mm.
interesting thing about PSG right now is that they are not playing very well. Even in the league, in Liga, they are not doing a very good job. Their
They
coach
also were
Thomas
facing
Tuchel
injury
has
issue,
come.
no? They were
Yeah,
also
they have
facing
their own
injury
injury
issue.
issues.
Yeah,
The biggest challenge that they have is that their team is very disoriented because Thomas Tuchel came
yeah.
out and he said that the team is not playing like a team. Neymar came out and is saying that we are not playing like a team. So they are having their usual breakdown where there are individual players but they are not able to come together. So that's something that plays in our favor. Maybe there is this siege mentality that they might develop tomorrow. I don't think so that's going to affect us that badly. So there are a lot of positives for us going into the game. I just feel like we should not give any more to them. Like, I think we should play with the back five. I think we should have wingers in the position. So I think Dan James or Greenwood could come in if Martial cannot make it. I would like to start with Greenwood and Martial. Rashford will be there. Cavani will be there.
Mm.
Van de Beek is going to be there. Bruno Fernandes is going to be there. I think Fred or Mate, either one of them will start. Uh, I will not be surprised if both McTominay, because he's back in training. If McTominay and Fred starts with Bruno Fernandes, that is something that we can expect as well because we have five subs. So maybe we make a lot of defensive five subs
Hmm.
second half of the game, given how the situation changes. So yeah, I think
Mm.
tomorrow's match is to be taken pragmatically. I want to draw. I don't really. If you win, brilliant, lovely. But I
One
would like to see us qualified as soon as possible.
one thing that I'd like to add over here is that this is a big match for PSG and for
Mm.
Thomas Tuchel because his job is on the line. We all know that if
Mm.
he doesn't make it into the next stage, he's gonna get sacked. It's written on the wall. So I think Ole Gunnar
Who do you
Solskjaer.
think is going to take helm if
I
Tuchel
have
goes?
no clue. I have no clue. I just hope
Eh,
it's not that
Is
Sacking,
it going to be
manager.
I think if we
Pochettino? Is
talk
it
about
going to be
I
sacking
just
Thomas
hope
Pochettino?
not
Tuchel,
that.
is not that
I
simple. Sacking Thomas Tuchel is not that simple because if they would wanted to sack him, they would have done
yes,
that already. I think the biggest
yes,
discussion regarding him is that they don't have the money to sack him right now. Because he's a goner. He's already a goner because not only the team is not playing well, but he's also at terms with their director of football, Leonardo. So here they always
yeah.
came out and throw jabs at each other. So there
I
is
don't.
only a matter of time before Tuchel goes.
I don't think they'll sack him as of now because they don't have any options. Who will they go for if they sack him?
The
Let's
Pochettino is the
say,
most desirable manager right now.
Pochettino
I think
can.
they might.
They
But
can approach him.
Pochettino won't be going to PSG if he has waited up until now to get a job. He won't be going for PSG. I don't think he'll be going to PSG because why? What is the reason to go to PSG? He knows that Mbappe is going away. He knows that
I
for
think
a
it's
fact.
yeah. I think
Mbappe is
I
going
Poch-
don't
away.
think Mbappe's departure is that imminent right now. I think he will go to Real Madrid. That's written in the stars, as we discussed in the last
It
episode.
is
That's going to
very
happen.
eminent
I just don't
by
think
the
it's going to happen next summer.
start of the season. He'll be a Madrid player. I am
you
pretty
know,
sure about it. I am pretty sure Real Madrid not spending in one whole transfer
and
window
they
itself is an indication that they are going for a bumper transfer.
and
It
Real Madrid.
itself
Let's
is an
not forget
indication.
Real Madrid. Let's not forget they're in a turmoil right now. They've
They are
pathetic
in
run of
turmoil with
form in the La
Hazard
Liga.
injury. Hazard
Right.
injury. Don't forget about the Hazard injury.
I think Pochettino, only two possible clubs that he might land in is Real Madrid and Manchester United. I don't think he'll go to
Yeah,
PSG. And the funny
Yeah.
thing, which I find for tomorrow, is that we can really frustrate them, because if we just sit at the back, the players will obviously get frustrated. They would want to push more, and we can hit them on the counter attack. And if we by chance win, they'll be in the Europa League, and then Arsenal once again do not have the opportunity of winning it because they'll face PSG sooner or later. So yeah.
I don't think PSG going to Europa League is not the reason Arsenal will miss out on Europa League. I think they'll
Okay.
sabotage that themselves.
They'll do it
But
before that.
I don't think PSG will be missing out on the Champions League football, because I think Leipzig is the one who will be going to Europa. PSG will qualify somehow.
But Leipzig will be facing Istanbul and then us at their home ground. So do you think that we'll
Yeah,
beat them?
I still think PSG has the ability to get through. I don't know, but I have this feeling that PSG will get through, and it will be Leipzig will play in the Europa League. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see.
I honestly don't care.
Uh,
Just hope that we finish at the top of the pile so that we get an easier knockout
Easier,
fixture.
but even if we finish top of the group, na, we'll be in a situation where another top group must have finished second place, and we'll be facing them. We are so
Yeah.
pathetic
I think
with
Real
our.
Madrid is second right now in their group,
No,
if
no,
I'm
they are
not
top
wrong.
of the group. They are
They're
top of the
top, all
group.
right.
They're
All
top of
right.
the group.
So I just have to check. I just hope it's not Bayern
They
Munich.
are they are it's Inter Milan which is pathetic in their group. They had
They,
Shakhtar, Inter Milan, and this
Borussia Mönchengladbach.
yeah, Mönchengladbach.
I
They
hope
had
we
this
get Borussia Dortmund and then spank them, man. That would be the best event. I just hope
Borussia.
we get.
You hope Borussia is not facing
Yeah, but
Haaland.
I'm scared of, but
Borussia
I'm
is
scared of
the
Haaland. I'm scared of Haaland.
Haaland Sancho will Haaland Sancho would rip apart our defense. Don't
Uh,
don't be in a situation where I don't want
nah,
to be in
man,
a
I'm
situation where
confident.
we are pathetic. अरे यार
I'm confident. If we
बोलना
can beat
आसान है
PSG and
बोलना आसान
Leipzig,
है
if we can beat PSG and
बोलना
Leipzig, we
आसान
can
है
beat them.
नॉकआउट इज नॉट सेम एज ग्रुप स्टेज ठीक है वो एक आध बारी हो गया हालैंड और सैंचो के साथ नहीं होने वाला है सेम चीज
We have Greenwood, bro. Haaland who? Haaland who?
Haaland is the golden boy.
Yeah, no
Greenwood
problem.
who? Greenwood who? Greenwood
Our guy
who?
came 30. There was
Greenwood who?
one final point. There was one more golden boy who from our squad who won that award in 2015, 2016. I'm sure you guys know what his name is. I'm sure you
2015,
guys know what it.
16.
Who could it be?
During
Who could it
during
be?
during the Van Gaal era, I'm sure you know who that guy is. I'm
अरे
just sipping
यार
my.
you're
I'm
pathetic.
just.
You're pathetic. And where is he now? And where is he now?
He has tonsillitis.
In the streets.
Anthony Ma- Anthony Martial
Yeah,
is our sponsor for every video we do. At the end of the video, we should just say this video is sponsored by Anthony Martial.
Anti-Martial fan base.
yeah.
Show your
I'm a
jersey.
City
Show your
United
jersey.
fan.
No. Show your jersey.
I have it's in my closet. I'll get it. I'll get it the day he scores in the Premier League. उसका
Okay,
गोल
that
record ही
means that
नहीं
is
है.
it is going to
Okay.
come out next season. That means
Prob-
it's going to come out next season.
Respect, bro. Your top scorer last year. Pay some respect. कोई नहीं, कोई
Wally,
नहीं.
Wally is fuming deep inside.
I so wanted him to play tomorrow, man. कोई नहीं.
अरे यार, Martial case
You know,
another day,
I love
another day,
but I love
another day.
Edison. I love Edison Cavani, and what I love even more about him is his freakish celebration, man. It's just amazing.
Matador.
I hope he does
The
that.
Bowman. The Bowman.
The
Uh,
boom.
the bomb.
Robin Hood.
Okay, so let's talk about the starting 11. Wali has already talked about his starting 11. Anshuman will like to talk to you about
Yeah.
your possible starting 11 against PSG.
I think Bai might come in the defensive start lineup, and Van Bissaka is going to be there. Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, left back. I think if Tellis is not going to make tomorrow's match, which is very likely, we'll see Brandon Williams. I'm not too excited about the prospect, but we are gonna have to make do with the situation. And
Fosu
I
Mensah?
think Cavani,
Fosu Mensah?
Fosu I when he during his loan spell in Fulham and Crystal Palace, he showed a lot of promise. He showed a lot of promise when he came through the ranks at United. It just hasn't worked out for him ever since his comeback. I really rate the guy, and I really want him to perform well, perform better. But it's not working out for him at the moment. So naturally, it's not something that I'm very excited about. And I think we should go ahead with the front three. Rashford and Cavani should be a shoe in. I think Greenwood or Dan James, either one of those will make. I would rather have Greenwood from the start because he requires a bit of confidence, and we don't really know.
Yeah,
I think if it works out for him, fine. If it doesn't work out for him, we can bring Dan James or Juan Mata somewhere along the line. That is not a
yeah,
challenge because we have five subs. I think McTominay can play because Oli mentioned last week that he started training. So I think
yeah,
it will be interesting if he can come in, because if he can, then he can slot into the right centre back positions as well, because he has played that position for us and Scotland. So that would be interesting to see. I think back five is crucial. Fred will start, Van der Beek will start, Bruno Fernandes will start. So a lot of usual faces, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he lines up. He could line up with a
yeah,
5-3.
yeah. 5-2-3, and from the past, what we've seen, I think it is going to be a 5-3. I hope that we have some players at hand. Somebody gets fit because the current situation for our defense is looking very bleak at the moment. And
The interesting
PSG,
thing is that
PSG are hurting.
Mhm,
The thing
mhm.
about yeah, tomorrow's game is that PSG is hurting, and
Yeah,
they won their game against Leipzig 1-0. But they drew against Bordeaux, I think, in the League One, and they lost against Monaco 3-2, and
not
they
a good
also had
They
a
sign.
red
lost
card in their game.
surprisingly. They lost
Uh,
surprisingly against Monaco. They
uh,
were 2 to
uh,
2-0 up. So that's not a good look.
What's your 11,
so
Paritosh? What's your probable 11?
uh, yeah, it's not about the 11 because right now what the major issue is that who gets fit and who doesn't. There are a lot of players who I don't like to see on the pitch, but there is this Lingard situation brewing that Lingard is fit and he's been training with the team for a while now. I think it is 4 or 5 days now, and I think he'll be involved in the PSG game.
You never
I'm
know what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does, because
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
last time in
yeah.
during the
You
Crystal
never
Palace
know. You
away
never
game,
know.
he brought Timothy Fosu from the dead. In the previous game, he started Greenwood. He wasn't there in the squad. In the Champions League fixture, we started with Rashford, Cavani, and Martial. So he always
Yeah,
surprises us with his lineup. So I think it's going to be another surprise. कोई ना कोई एक ऐसा बंदा होगा जो काफी टाइम से खेला नहीं है, like a Lingard, Fosu, and they might be,
yeah.
or even Paul Pogba, he might return as well. You never know what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because De Gea is having a knee injury, but there is this possible return that De Gea can play the PSG game. It is not it's not really sure that Hendo is going to start or not, but we'll have to see. Beek is going to start, although he had an ankle injury, but I think he's going to start. Paul Pogba is also set to come back. He had an ankle injury, but he's set to come back against PSG. I think that's why he was rested for the Premier League game.
Southampton game.
Uh, Martial, I think because of the illness, he also is set to come back. I'm not pretty sure that he'll come back or not. If he comes back, it is good because if he comes back, that means that we can play Martial, Cavani, and Rashford. So that is going to be interesting. The Alex Tejas had an issue against Southampton, but Tejas is again. These are a lot of question marks in front of the many situations that we have. Eric Bailly is set to come back, I think, against PSG. Lingard, I think, will be at least included in the side, and Luke Shaw is out of the side, so that is going to be a huge. If Alex Tejas gets fit, that is going to be a huge boost. If Tejas starts, it is going to be a huge boost for United, and
Yeah, I agree.
United probably need him against PSG. It is going to be
I
really
think
really
I
interesting.
would be at this rate. I would be fine with Luke Shaw as well. They've both done well at left back. So, but
Anurag Tyagi says United fans
आ गया
considering
ये.
toddler PSG and RB Leipzig as big boys. Arey, you dumb fuck. It was said the group of death by everybody. Go have a Google search and watch it properly now. बे यार इसको
Yeah,
एजुकेशन दो भाई.
they
अबे
they
भाई हम
they
नहीं बोल
went.
रहे हैं ये पंडित ने बोला था शुरुआत में जब ये ग्रुप निकला था ना तब उस टाइम पे पीएसजी लाइप्जिग यूनाइटेड एक टीम में ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ बोला गया था इसे. अबे
Right.
यार आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट हिम. डम फक. ब्लडी स्काउजर.
Scouser. Adam Lallana.
हाँ नहीं तो
All
अबे
right,
क्या
कोई नहीं.
लॉजिक तो बोल भाई ये हमने थोड़ी बोला है हर कोई बोल रहा था ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ
अनुराग कोई
की.
बात नहीं ब्रो. It's all right. लिवरपूल हारेगी फिक्र नहीं कर भाई. चलो.
अबे यार इनका तो वैसे ही किस्मत खराब चल रही है गाली देने का भी मन नहीं करता इनके तो
और ये वो
बेचारे
देखा
वैन
था जब
डाइक इंजर हो गया.
किसी ने देखा था क्लॉप जब रो रहा
हाँ
था, कैसे रो
हाँ
रहा था.
बीटी स्पोर्ट.
अरे
अरे यार बुरा लग
मजा
रहा
आ
है
गया.
उसके लिए बुरा लग रहा है मुझे. उसकी गलती नहीं है
सही
ना.
में.
उसकी
हाँ तो वो
गलती
रो
नहीं है,
क्यों रहा
बेचारी
था?
की किस्मत ही खराब है। किस्मत ही खराब है वैन
किस्मत ही
डाइक की
खराब।
तो भाई। अबे 10 महीने के लिए उसका मेन प्लेयर चला गया। कायदे से मेन
अच्छा।
प्लेयर है उसका वो।
हम्म।
वेगा बॉन्ड, हाँ भाई वेगा बॉन्ड ही है। फिर भी तुमसे ज्यादा बार जीते हुए। सिट ऑन दिस।
what does vagabond mean? I am not so sure. What does it mean again?
वेगा
मुझे
बॉन्ड इज
वेगाबॉन्ड का
समवन हु,
पूर्ण नहीं समझ में आया।
हाँ मतलब
यहाँ
वेगा बॉन्ड ही है, कोई चक्कर
कॉन्टेक्स्ट
नहीं।
में नहीं पल्ले पड़ा मेरे को।
हाँ
चलो
वेगाबॉन्ड
छोड़ो
गाली
खैर।
थोड़ी। वेगाबॉन्ड इज समवन हु इज नॉट सिटिंग एट वन प्लेस एंड कॉन्स्टेंटली ट्रेवल्स फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर। मतलब एक जगह रुका नहीं
ऑलराइट।
रहता बेसिकली।
तो आर्सेनल की
लिवरपूल का
मिडफील्ड
मैच।
मतलब।
अब
चलो
लिवरपूल
खैर
का
छोड़ो।
अपने इश्यूज है। लिवरपूल का एयाक्स है ना कल। देखते हैं इनका
हाँ।
क्या होता है। लिवरपूल का भी मैच है कल, और बहुत सारे इंटरेस्टिंग मैचेस है अभी। लेकिन हम मेन मेन अट्रैक्शन फिर भी यूनाइटेड वर्सेस पीएसजी होगा, क्योंकि दोनों अभी हेवीवेट्स बोल सकते हो तुम एक तरह से। थोड़ा रेगुलर हो गया है पीएसजी भी चैंपियंस लीग में। पिछली बार का सेमीफाइनल बोल रहा हूँ, फाइनलिस्ट है। तो अभी इंपॉर्टेंट
हाँ।
फिक्सचर है। और अभी अगर मैं स्टार्टिंग 11 की बात करूं तो फिर I'd like to see Martial coming back, and if Martial comes back, then it will be Cavani, Martial, Rashford. Rashford from the right, Martial from the left, center पे Cavani. Just behind him, I think it will be Beak, Bruno, and Fred. Beak, Bruno, and Fred. और बैक पे मेरे को लगता है जो फाइव हम खेलते हैं ना, उसमें मैकटोमिनी को हिल प्ले एज अ कनेक्टिंग सीबी, विच विल कनेक्ट द मिडफील्ड टू द डिफेंस। और उसके साथ मैगवायर और बाई हो सकता है, बाई स्टार्ट करेगा शायद। तो बाई, अगर टेस होता है तो लेफ्ट से टेस, वरना ब्रैंडन विलियम्स, वी हैव नो अदर ऑप्शन। और राइट से फूसो मेंसा, यार फूसो मेंसा, आई डोंट लाइक फूसो मेंसा एट ऑल।
Neither
बट
of us.
वी डोंट हैव एनी ऑप्शन, वी डोंट हैव एनी ऑप्शन आई थिंक।
Hmm.
और
We should just. Who else is left? वो तो
अभी
क्या?
यही है बस, साइड यही है अभी, और क्या कर सकते हैं।
तो
अभी ऑप्शन ही यही है। और फिर मेरे
प्रिडिक्शन
को
क्या है?
लगता है
हम्म।
प्रिडिक्शन, हाँ प्रिडिक्शंस भी ले लेते हैं। लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द प्रिडिक्शंस। यूनाइटेड वर्सेस पीएसजी, आई थिंक इट इज गोइंग टू बी a nil-nil. I think it is going to be a nil-nil. I don't know. A nil-nil or a PSG 1-0 win.
Ah man.
I think
Chuban,
it's
what do
going
you think?
I will take a 1-1 draw for tomorrow's match.
1-1 draw.
1-1. Okay, then I'll go with a United 1-0 win. I think we're going to score one goal and then we're just going to pass the double decker. So that's what I feel. But I hope कि कल we get through so that एक चीज दिमाग से बाहर हो जाए and we can focus on the Premier League more than the Champions League. Because if we, God forbid, do not manage to win, then
हाँ.
squad rotation, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will have to think about the final Champions League game and then might have to
Hmm.
make some changes in the Premier League game, which could hamper the performance in the Premier League fixture because we have been stringing good performance in the league as well. So it's important for us as well, even though it's important for PSG, it's important for us as well in the
Hmm.
grand scheme of things. So
Hmm.
I hope just how we just go through and maybe let's see what happens.
Yeah, United heavyweights, good joke. Bro, the fact that United haven't won a Premier League in 6 seasons and still pull more numbers than Liverpool should be enough to prove that which is the bigger club and who is the heavyweight or who is.
Well, we already
So
know which is the bigger club, so we don't
so
need to discuss about that.
okay, so
मरावा
I
हाथी
think
वो है ना, मरावा हाथी वाला मुहावरा बता दे एक बार क्या था?
अरे जान दे, फालतू बात नहीं करनी यार को।
मरावा हाथी कुछ
डिल्यूशनल,
महंगा होता है, कुछ महंगा होता है, कुछ
अरे
ऐसे ही कुछ होता है। खैर छोड़। हाँ।
डिल्यूजनल, डिल्यूजनल लोग क्या बात करनी है उसमें फालतू। So I think that's it from our side at One United, and I think we'll be coming again after tomorrow's match against PSG because United are currently having a run of games. There is this game against West Ham, then we play City, I think.
Yeah.
So it is going to be interesting few days. We have some interesting games. We have played 9 games in the Premier League. If we win, we'll be going into the top four, I think. If we win against West Ham, we'll be going
Hmm.
into the top four because we'll be having 19 points. And third place, which team is in third place? That is also having 19 points. So it is going to be
Right.
interesting. The how the next few days pan out. There is this game against PSG tomorrow, and then we have West Ham on Saturday, and then we have
City.
Leipzig. Then
Oh
we
yeah,
have Leipzig.
Leipzig.
Then we have
All right, all
Leipzig on
right.
Wednesday, and then we have City on next Saturday. So it is good. It is a good run of games, but it is also going to be a very hectic run of games. So we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out. So this is us at One United. Paritosh Joshi, Wali Siddiqui, and Anshuman Joshi signing off. See you guys again really, really soon.